How often do you get the chance to pick up 4 Sega Saturn games for just $30? I did, and I'm going to share that with you today on the Retro Hunting Adventures.
Yo, this is MegaManFan, and you need to rock and or roll on over to Mr. MegaManFan's YouTube channel, because it's all that rush to make it happen. Peace!
So originally, this eBay lot was listed as 4 games for Sega Saturn for $40. And seeing the condition they were in and the fact that they were all sports titles, I pitched to the seller a best offer of $30. And she said, "You're right, they're sports titles, they're fairly common. I'm just selling these for a friend." Apparently that friend's name is Barry because he autographed every single one of them. So she accepted my offer and shipping was included. So all I paid was $30 plus sales tax. There's only one downside to this purchase, and that's that I already had Madden 97, which is one of the most common Sega Saturn games out there. But given it was in the roughest condition of the 4, and the fact that I can just put it in a retro swap box at some point, I figured, why not? I'm still getting 3 Sega Saturn games that I don't have for $30, and 2 of them are in really nice condition, which you will see as I move on with the rest of this video. Now, Madden 98 is not that one. You can see it's got a crack right across the front. It's missing the hinge on the bottom. Not missing the hinge on the top, but it is complete in the box, manual and disc, which is not always the most common thing in the world. Sometimes you get loose discs and sometimes you get no manual because it's a rental copy. So this is still an acceptable version of Madden 98 compared to a lot of what you'll find if you go looking at pawns, thrifts, fleas, eBay sales. It's better than most, seriously. And obviously the most important part is that it's actually a working game. It wouldn't really be a good value for $10 if it wasn't, because it's, after all, a sports title. But it's actually a little more sophisticated than Madden 97. The opening videos seem a little more sophisticated. The loading times, at least to my non-sophisticated eye, seem faster. I'm no expert, but they feel like they're more optimized on this version. The gameplay is good. The graphics are about the same as 97. The only thing I didn't like here was that I picked an exhibition game, and that made me the New England Patriots by default. Not my favorite franchise among NFL teams. And then I won the coin toss, which is probably the only time ever I actually hate winning one. So here we have NBA Live 98, and this one is in really nice condition. Got the bottom hinge, got the top hinge. That's rare for a Sega Saturn game because these cases are fragile like eggs. The backside is slightly scuffed up, but not anything that I consider unacceptable. It's not cracked anywhere. And as you can see, the manual's in good shape, and the disc has once been autographed by Barry. Barry was really proud of his Sega Saturn games, but he didn't take the best care of them because they're a little bit scratched up, so we got to make sure that they all work. And once again, I'm happy to say NBA Live is all the way live. EA Sports, it's in the game. Honestly, that's one of the most iconic openings for any video game. If you put in an EA Sports title and it doesn't say, "It's in the game," it's actually kind of disappointing. Now, if you're familiar with the NBA Live franchise, there's not too many surprises here. It's gotten more sophisticated over time. The 90s saw vast improvements in the formula, and this plays really nicely when you actually know what you're doing. I was trying to make a pass there and ended up shooting 3/4 of the court. Not very smart. So once I got down the controls and realized how to switch from one player to the other on defense or offense, and then figured out which button was passing as opposed to shooting, I tried to set the mailman up so he could move into the paint and hit an easy jump shot, and he missed. Carl, why, Carl? I respected you in WCW. Why are you going to play me like that? Anyway, here's NBA Live 97, which is also in really nice condition. Got the bottom hinge, got the top hinge as well. And that makes both of these NBA Live titles very worth the $30 that I spent. It is so rare. I'm serious, so rare to find good condition Sega Saturn cases. That's why replacement cases have become big business. You can find a lot of people selling varying qualities of Sega Saturn replacement gem boxes. They also fit Sega CD games too. Anyway, NBA Live 97, another tested and working game. This has turned out very well, which I imagine some people will scoff at because it's like, sports games? You spent all that on sports games? Yes, because I didn't have them. And I like having Sega Saturn games, and sports games on Sega Saturn are actually really fun. They're very easy to pick up and play. You don't get the controls right away if you don't read the manual, which Ryan Taylor always chastises me for, but you can figure them out within, I'd say, 10 seconds. And once you get going, it's a great experience. Even playing single player. Two player is obviously more fun when you've got a buddy over and you can go back and forth and talk some trash, but one player is just fine too because the AI in these games is good enough to simulate the actual experience of playing another NBA franchise, so I'm fine with it. The loading times on NBA Live 97 kind of suck compared to NBA Live 98, but again, they got better at these things over time. So I'm not going to fault them for that because the Sega Saturn was not the easiest system in the world to program for anyway. At least the graphics look really nice. It's my own fault here that I hit pause during this opening cinematic where it rotates around the court because that made everything slow down and then it had to load from the disc again. But it is a working game, so don't blame the game, blame me for causing it to not finish caching the memory when it probably should have. Anyway, this is Mr. MegaManFan, testing out Sega Saturn games and doing so for another episode of the Retro Hunting Adventures. And I thank you for watching. And my advice to you is be a bargain shopper because every now and then, if you make somebody an offer, they'll actually accept. You just have to know the value of what they're selling and be reasonable and not try to totally screw them over. If it's something common like sports titles, you can probably get a good deal for it. Not always, but sometimes. And I consider $10 for any Sega Saturn game a pretty good deal. If you doubt me, just look at price charting and you'll see that most complete Sega Saturn games in any condition go for well more than $10. As always, thanks for watching, and if you're new, please subscribe.